Hi, today we're going to go ahead and continue our series of going through the 19 daily prayers that are called the Amida. And we're not looking at them so much to just read through them and call that our prayer, because that tends to be just vain repetition. What we want to look at is using the Amida daily prayers as a framework for our prayers when we're maybe not sure what to pray, or even where to get started, or what is appropriate, or just how to express what's in our heart. So, the first one we looked at was how Yah is the covenant keeper, the God of our fathers, and he is still faithful to us today. And today, the second one, let me go ahead and get the name here. The second one is called Gevurot. And forgive me if I'm not pronouncing, I know just enough Hebrew to be dangerous. But this refers to Yah as our might, the sustainer of life, and the restorer of life. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll start by reading it, and then let's go ahead and take a deeper look, particularly at how we find the roots for this prayer in Scripture. All right, blessing number 2. You, O Yah, are mighty forever. You are the reviver of the dead. You are greatly able to save. You sustain the living in loving kindness. You revive the dead with great compassion. You support the falling, heal the sick, set free the bound, and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, O Master of mighty deeds? Who compares to you, a king who puts to death and restores to life and brings forth salvation? And you are faithful to revive the dead. Blessed are you, O Yah, who revives the dead. So in this second blessing, we see Yah again pictured as the sustainer of the living. He brings resurrection. He promises resurrection. He brings support for the fallen and the downcast. He brings healing. And again, we see his faithfulness to his people. And before we go too deep into scripture, I just want to say that this blessing, I have often struggled with to comprehend. Um, I lost my mom about 2.5 years ago. And when you read this blessing, you can get caught, or at least I did, seeing, but you didn't heal her, you didn't restore her, you did not resurrect her, and wonder why that is. But as we look closer at this passage, he does promise resurrection. I will see her again someday. Not yet, but I do have that promise. And I also have this phrase that's near the beginning. It says, "You sustain the living in loving kindness." And when you realize that that's a promise for us, for those who are still here, he promises to sustain us with his loving kindness. That is a very strong promise. So I just want to encourage you, if you're kind of in the same place where you're going through a dark season, you're grieving, whatever it might be, he promises to sustain you in this season with his loving kindness. And that's an incredible promise. So let's go ahead and look at some scriptures that have to do with this blessing. I'm going to read them for you. Starting in Isaiah 57:15. Let's see. Isaiah, there it is. Isaiah 57. Okay, Isaiah 57:15. Let me find it here. And it says, "For thus says the one who is high and lifted up, who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, and also with him who is of a contrite and lowly spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite." So there we see right in Isaiah, he promises when we are in a lowly and contrite season, he promises that even though he is in the high places, he is also down here with us, sitting with us in that season. Psalms 143. Psalms 143 and verse 3. For the enemy, I'm not sure if that's the one I wanted. No, I'm not. I'm thinking I wrote that one down wrong. So we'll just move on. Deuteronomy 32. Probably got a number wrong, but I'm not sure what. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. And while that can kind of seem a little scary at first, when we know that we are in His hands and everything is within His power to control, then we can see the opposite side of that. It's very encouraging that He is the one that's in charge, and there is no God. There is no God like Him. 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. The Lord kills and brings to life. He brings down to Sheol and raises up. And here again, we have the promise of resurrection from the dead in the last days. He does bring to life again. So for those of you who have lost someone, we have that promise. If they were trusting in Yeshua, that we will see them again in the last day. And then Psalms 146 and verses 8 and 9. The Lord sets the prisoners free. The Lord opens the eyes of the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the sojourners. He upholds the widow and the fatherless, but the way of the wicked he brings to ruin. And once again, we see that He is there for those who are struggling, who are hurting, who have lost someone. He is there to sustain us with loving kindness, as the blessing says. And as we think about this, when we're praying and we're grieving or we're struggling or we're having some sort of dark season, I think of the story of Lazarus, where Yeshua, even though He knew He was about to raise Lazarus from the dead, it says He wept. He sat there with those sisters and felt what they were feeling and grieved with them, even though He knew it was going to be okay in the end. And He does the same for us. He sustains us. He sits with us. He does not judge us for feeling the way we feel. He understands, and he sustains us and gives us the promise of ultimate resurrection from the dead. And I find that so encouraging. So as we look at this as a template for our prayers, I actually underlined a couple phrases that really stick out when I'm praying. And again, I don't want to encourage you just to read the prayers. I want you to just use it as a jumping off point. So when it says you sustain the living in loving kindness, I mean, that's just a huge point for gratitude, to just thank Yah for what He does, the little things He does for you every day. A friend of mine posted a bit ago, I am still breathing. And so I have reason to be thankful. Yah still has a purpose for my life. That if we start looking for the little things that He does every day for us, that He didn't have to do, but He chose to do it anyway because He loves us. This is a great opportunity to thank Him for all of those things. And as you go down a few phrases, it says, "Who is like you, O Master of mighty deeds?" He doesn't even just limit Himself to the little things. He shows Himself in master deeds. And so I see this as a place where you can just share with Yah how you're feeling right now, even if your feelings seem a bit dark. It's okay. He understands. And then you can also use it as an opportunity to thank Him for the ways He shows up in the little things and in the big things, because we're still alive and He's still sustaining us and He's still showing us His loving kindness. So I hope that this part of the blessings will be an opportunity for you to spend some time in prayer and use this as a starting off point. And as we did with the first blessing, I did create just a simple one-page printable for you with some prompts to help get you started to use this blessing in your prayers. And if just a reminder, if you do have a Torah Family Living Planner, the Amida is in the first few pages of every planner. So you can use that during your prayer time to be able to read the prayers. Very easy. They're right there for you to use. So I'll put a link to the printable and to other resources I think you would find helpful as we're looking to use these blessings as a template for our prayers. And I will see you next time for blessing 3. Thank you.